Welcome back to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. We are back here at Gil's crib. I'm your co-host Josiah Johnson, and we are here with another edition of Heat Check, where we talk about the hottest topics going on around basketball. Now let's hit on some current events. Los Angeles Lakers. We sat on this very couch, I believe, when we were at the other crib, one of two spots, and you pointed out that you weren't really rolling with Frank Vogel. Mm-hmm. It was an issue. You've seen the Lakers struggle now, sub 500. Had arguably the best win of the season against the Jazz. 2 days later, getting Karis LeVert, who I should have known, but I didn't realize it was Gerald LeVert's nephew or whatever the family. I'm a big OJ's fan. Uh-huh. But, dropping 22 in the fourth quarter, Westbrook getting pulled for the final 352, dipping from the arena, not talking to the press, obviously extremely frustrated. When you look at the Lakers squad now, is this Frank Vogel's fault? Because some would argue, no AD, right? He's been out for a minute. The squad is already undermanned. You're getting some guys that are coming back and figuring things out. Does Vogel deserve the blame, or does he need time to see this squad at actual full strength go out there and play and see what they can do?
Well, when they were at full strength at the beginning of the season, what was he doing? When he won the championship, I said it. I said, I give him, a C? I gave him a C at best, right? Because you were supposed to win that championship. Like, there was no way you were going to lose that chance. You couldn't lose. So I'm judging you on how you actually played the game. How did you play? You were playing against Miami. Like, let's just be honest here. Miami, Jimmy Butler, top 20 player that year. Top 20 player. Bam, maybe he breaks 50. Everyone else, not even in the 100. Right? They're not below 100. Well, if your matchup against those guys is guys who's not even in the 300s, then those guys have an advantage over you. So those two guards, you got Duncan and, Hero as a freshman, as a rookie, they're outscoring you by like 30-something between those two against your guards. Someone has to make that up. That makes more pressure on LeBron and AD. So you drop 2 games to a team that you should have 4-0'd by 20, 10 at the worst. It was like your lineups are horrible. You do not know what matches. It's like getting dressed in the dark. That's how he pulls his lineup. So, and then there was one thing that I just despised that he did, and this goes for any coach in sports. Game 6, he tells Dwight Howard that he will not be playing this game. As a player, just basketball, just sports knowledge, that was the dumbest thing you can possibly do. How do you tell a player that he's not going to play? How the do you know that? The game dictates who you're going to play. See, you already prejudging what you're going to do. That's the problem there. You're not watching the actual game in real time. You're playing the game on what you think is going to happen. It's chess, right? You can have your moves, but if he's not moving how you figured it out, you have to adjust to that. So the fact that you're telling a player that he's not going to play and the game doesn't dictate that yet, there's a problem with your coaching staff. Your coaching philosophy in the first place. So I had a problem with that, because what ends up happening is that player won't go through his routine. He's not going to stretch properly. He's not going to warm up properly. Mentally, he's going to be out of it. And then if something happened in a game and you needed him, he mentally wasn't going to be there anyway. So it's just one of those things where, as a coach, you should never, because you do not actually know what you're going to need until that game starts and that game is being played. So right there just lets me know that he's not in tune with his squad. He's not in tune with what's going on. He needs to do some real exercises with his group.
Do you think Vogel will be the Lakers coach?
No.
By the end of the season?
No.
How much longer? You're Pelinka.
He won't be here for the following season, no.
So you think he's gone at least after this season? Okay. And just quickly, you mentioned that conversation with Dwight during the finals. But question for you, as a player, you always talk, be a professional, be ready. But if a coach tells you some shit like that, are you mentally just going to shut it down? Or just Gil, as you as a player, if I'm the coach, like, Gil, you're probably not going to play tonight. How do you feel? Do you still come in with the approach, or you just
I mean, as a professional, in the professional world, you're going to be a professional. You know, it's a championship. You're happy for your team. Of course, you want to be there on the floor, but you're going to be a professional. High school, college, AAU, off. Let's just be honest. You know, most of those kids, they're going to walk off, go home. I ain't going to play you today. You know, it's just one of those things. But I think Frank, what he needs to do is do this. Every player on this team, say, hey, write your name at the top. Tell me the 4 players that you would like to play with. Right? So now you take that list, you sit it down, now you can see who, because a coach sees exactly how his vision looks. Not necessarily those guys actually go well together. So if I ask you, who did you like playing well with? You know who you play well with. You know, just for some reason, we just match up great. That might not be the best player on the team or this person, but for some reason, when you guys play together, you guys are peanut butter and jelly. He should do that. Everyone write down who they play. So now you can match it up. Okay, this is Melo's. Okay, Melo like playing with LeBron, AD, okay, Westbrook, and this person. Boom, boom, boom. And you just do that so you can see the combinations that you can actually have, because you probably won't know it until you actually see it work out. Like, we were small, but me, Steve Blake, and Juan Dixon played well together. You know what I mean? It wasn't ideal for but offensively, defensive, we actually played well because we're going to press, we're going to run fast motion, but that's not a lineup that you would think that would have been successful because it's three guards. But it worked well. Like, we were down 15 in games, and you put us 3 in, and we're pressing full court, we're just moving. You know, so you need to really actually sit down and do that exercise so you can see what the players see. You got to remember, a coach is watching a game. A coach is watching a game like this, sideline to sideline. Players is up and down. So you have 2 different visions. So no one's wrong. Your visions are different. So you need to see what the players see, right? So the fact that you have Westbrook and then you have Bradley, dumb. That's a dumb lineup. What is Bradley going to do besides be some corner shooter? He's a corner shooter, defensive player. Like, how much defense do you need on your team if you have Dwight Howard and LeBron James? Like, how much more defense? Like, I don't want defense that can't score. Makes it harder for scorers because they don't need to guard this man anymore. You know, maybe him and Monk play better together. Him and Horton play better together. You need to, like with a Westbrook, you need another scorer. You need someone who can relieve the pressure so he's not trying to do it all himself. You know what I mean? So you got to learn how to, what actually matches up.
So you mentioned Westbrook, and this is the thing, I'm a LeBron guy. Lakers Nation, notorious for bullying players to greatness. We saw with KCP in years past. Westbrook has kind of caught the ire of the entire Lakers fandom. Been a lot of debates. Twitter Spaces have been really buzzing. You got Russ's brother in there defending his honor. Russ, after the Pacers game, after he dipped, pulled up on a Twitter Spaces to see what was going on and being said about him. When you look at this Lakers, big 3, this was a decision that was made, obviously, to bring in Westbrook. You got Westbrook, AD, LeBron. Is that big 3 sustainable? We got the trade deadline coming up. Do you envision them making a move, or are they going to ride out with this squad for the rest of the season?
It's hard to make a move midseason and still be a champion. So if they do make this move, the chances of them winning, because then that group has to get, this ain't the East Coast where, LeBron can throw the whole team and get a whole new team and still make it to the championship. Yeah. This is the West, so you need, you need continuity. So, right now I just think that Vogel's paying attention to Google too much, because that's what they said. Once you bench Russ in the 4th quarter, and you actually tried the shit, and it didn't work. It didn't work in your favor. So it's one of those things where you put stop worrying about that's what I said. They worry about the defensive side so much that they don't realize that the offensive side is you up too. Because if you don't have guys that can create, how is LeBron getting to the basket? It's harder. 37, it's harder for him. If everyone's sagging the lane, how is Russell getting to the basket? So he has to take more jumper. So you're making it hard. You need scoring. It makes it easier. Like, Westbrook think about the shooters he's had. KD's here. Oh shit, we can't leave KD. Yeah. We got Bill. Can't leave Bill. Yeah. We got James Harden. So you see what he's needing. So you need players that actually. Horton and Melo with Westbrook. That helps him out a whole lot. You know what I mean? That helps him out a bunch. But you got dead players on the court. You got players who can't put the ball in the basket. So you're playing 3-on-5. You're scoring 104 points. That's your problem. 104 in an era where offense is running down your throat. So they obviously you see it's the Pacers. They don't give a shit about defending you. You're defending yourself because you got two players who's not going to shoot the ball. You're defending yourself. Shit. I'm not adjusting to your lineup. I'm just going to put out whoever I want, and we're just going to try to outscore you. That's what it is. We're going to just outscore you guys. 32 points in the first period. 24, 22, that's.
Yeah. It feels like it's been like that all season, and it's first half pumping their chest, 10, 15-point leads, but now just watching those games, it's just not going to last. Third quarter is going to start to dwindle. Then by fourth quarter, it's going to be other squad taking the lead, and we've seen that so often.
There's no place. I'm sorry. In today's game, there's no place where Bradley and Ariza should be on the court at the same time. Because you gotta think, Ariza is there for defense and making great plays. Not necessarily he's gonna shoot 3 or 4 shots. Bradley, defense, gonna shoot about 3 or 4 shots. So there's gonna be games where these two are both gonna have 0, and they're gonna be playing 15 to 30 minutes. Someone has to make up them points. Someone has to make up them. They shouldn't be on the court at the same time. You need more often. You don't need. He's the defender at the 1, then you got Ariza, then you got LeBron defender, then you got Dwight Howard, because it's not like they're passing the ball to Dwight Howard. So now you're playing 2-on-5. And that's the real problem.
So AD should be coming back soon. Obviously, squad sub 500 as the taping of this episode. Can they right that ship? And if so, what's their ceiling? We're talking first, second round in the playoffs, or would they should be happy to just get the play in?
It all depends. If they think bringing AD back is going to save them and they still going to be putting those same lineups out, then I don't see how they make the playoffs, let alone the Western Conference Finals.
Oof.
And it's.
It is what it is.
We sound like Clipper fans over here, right?
Oof.
All right, NBA fans, are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? Then you need to try the award-winning app Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy made easy. I love playing fantasy on Prize Picks, and I know you will too. My favorite part of Prize Picks, they offer any prop you can think of. I get creative and win big. And Prize Picks doesn't just offer NBA. They have options on college basketball, college football, NFL, MLB, soccer, MMA, and a lot more. Deposit and use promo code NOCHILL to receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Prize Pick is safe, offers fast withdrawals, and you can use the award-winning Prize Pick app on both Apple Store and Google Play. Don't forget to use promo code NOCHILL to receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That's promo code NOCHILL for 100% instant deposit match. Check out prizepicks.com, daily fantasy made easy.
Let's keep this thing moving to my favorite segment. What's eating Gilbert Arenas? What's bothering you now when you're looking around the league that's just this is some bullshit?
Oh, shit. Right now, refereeing. I really don't understand why they feel the need to call technicals when shit has nothing to do with them. It reminds me of police. They remind me of police, right? It's a one-sided thing. If something happens to me on the court and I get frustrated, I yell at you. You get frustrated and give me a tech. How does your frustration get to work but mine don't? Like, you missed the call, so that's strike one on you, and then I get mad at you, and then you say you and give me a tech. Now, it's too much power for no reason. Like, that power shouldn't, like, there should be this rule, like, unless they're going at you directly, then you can give them a tech. If they're talking amongst each other, talking trash, that has nothing to do with you. What is the purpose? Like, Westbrook makes the dunk, starts talking trash. Why are you giving him a tech? What did he do? What did he do? The play is dead. He's talking trash to Rudy. Who cares? How does that affect the game? What did the game change? You called the foul, he's embarrassed. Like, it's gonna be shown on replay, we're all gonna see it. Why do you need to jump in here and show, like, yeah, everybody out here, tag, yeah, like, for what? What is the point? Like I never understand that. Like, yo, why are you, like, I used to say, why are you in that, what? Let me and this man do what we talking about. Until we throw blows or something, just, yo, stay, referee the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you over here taking money out of our pocket. We doing what we do. We're competitors. We're talking trash. We do what we do, trying to get in each other's head. Why are you intervening with technicals? It has nothing to do with you. It's not slowing the game up. It's not doing it. Let us do us. You call a tech when we, like, hang on the rim or some shit, or like cuss at you or something, whatever. But let us men be men. And that's the thing that's irritating me right now. Like, they're just giving techs for no reason. Like, what did you say to him? What did you? Oh.
I think we as fans, too, don't really understand. We've talked about this on previous shows, but them texts come with a bag. Like, you're giving up a bag for those texts, right? You're paying a fine, and that's a shitload of money. Like, I don't care how much money you make in life.
It's not even, it's not about it's really not about the money. They're just, what is the purpose of it? Like if you two are talking trash, you just dunked on me, you just scored, why am I just randomly just, hey, oh, tech. Like, there's no reason for that. Like, yo, yeah, y'all calm down. Y'all acting like some little girls. Like, you don't need a tech for no reason. Like, they're just teching for no reason.
Like, if Westbrook dunks on Gobert like that, he should have about 25 good seconds where he can say whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. 25, give him a 24-second shot clock, talk whatever shit. You want to get off your chest.
There has to be some alternate. There needs to be something, because that technical, a taunting technical, like, there's technicals. It's like they're all bunched into this aggression. Like, if I'm dunking and I hang on the rim, that technical, if that's my second technical, I get kicked out of the game?
No.
Like, that's not fair. There's these groups of technicals that just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. I'm hanging on the rim, violation. Like, it should be something. It should just be a violation. It can't be a tech.
Delay a game.
Delay a game warning, no tech. It shouldn't be part of that group.
That makes sense.
Like, it should be like aggression tech. I fouled you hard. Hook, technical 1. All right, cool. And then I dunk, hang on the rim. Technical 2, you're out of the game. That don't make no sense.
So, to your point, Wednesday night, Jimmy Butler gets the double T. Boom, boom, sent to the crib. Crew chief was interviewed after the game. Was asked by a reporter, was it Butler's words or aggression that caused the first technical foul? Crew chief said it was both. The aggressive manner in which he approached the ref and the profanity that he yelled at him resulted in the first technical foul. There was a follow-up. What was the reasoning for the second technical foul? Crew chief explained the second one was the fact that he yelled egregious profanity, and that's why he was given the second technical foul. One more follow-up. Why the immediacy of the second technical foul? You just got the first technical foul. Mm-hmm. You should be able to have a little cool-off period from that first tech, right?
Yes.
At least about 17, 18 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
He said, the ref responded, because of the egregiousness of the profanity he yelled.
And that's the problem. Like, this is a sports. This is sports. If a player felt he got hit and you didn't call it, you got to remember, there's still 3 refs on the court. It's not necessarily you, but you're the closest one. So he's letting off his frustration. That That right there is actually normal behavior. It's part of the game. Emotions is part of the game. Heated moments is part of the game. What you're doing isn't actually part of the game. You're like, oh my God, I don't like that you're yelling at me. Tech. What? Tech again. And it's too much power. You know what I mean? And they're using it, and that's the issue. Like, because he cussed at you? Oh, oh my God.
So I think what you're saying is refs got to stop acting so light-skinned. I think that's what
Basically, it's one of these things. You're telling us that we're playing a sport where emotions are high. We don't supposed to have emotion. You guys are not even actually, all you got to do is see and call shit. That's all you got to do is run up and down and call shit that you actually see. You know, if it's a travel, hand checking, whatever it is you're supposed to see. You shouldn't have no emotional investment in this. Right? If I saw a Bible day, you prick, whatever, blah, 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 it's, keep it moving. I'm going to keep it moving because you're going to mess up something else or he's going to mess up something else. So I'm going to go at somebody. That's part of this game. So the fact that you mentally try to throw out how much power you have. Keep talking. Watch, I'm going to give you a tech. And I'm like, man, I'm going to give you a tech. Here, give me a tech for that. Right? Like, you know, Tim Duncan, when he's clapping on or laughing on the sideline, why are you going out of your way to do stuff like that? You should be focused between these lines. Like, it'd be great if publicly referees, like, we know they got fined. We know the players getting fined. You should know, hey, referee blah, blah, blah has gotten fined, has been suspended for 2 games, like, because of, you know, his actions. You do it to us, do it to them so we can see.
I think each team should get one tech that they can give an official, and if that same official gets a tech from each team, then he gets booted. You got to replace him.
Okay, so like the play with Washington where the coach, one of the assistant coaches hit the ball. That ref, tech, one tech for you, my man. How you missed that? One tech, missing shit, tech. Like, you know, it should be because the fact that the only reason that we're actually talking to you or yelling at you is because you missed something. So you missed something, so you're already in the fault in a sense. So take the heat. It's okay. It goes over. Like the and one, I felt I got a foul. You didn't give me the foul. I'm eventually I'm gonna run down the court unless I'm, you know, pulling my Chris Paul and, you know, I'm trying to get the tech. Yeah. But other than that, you just keep it moving. Like, go. You can sit here and talk to me all you want. 4-5 over there. It's 4-5, Chris, but it's 4-5, goddammit. You can do it. I'm not giving you no technical.
That's real shit.
This episode is brought to you by 8 Sleep. Good sleep is the ultimate game changer. More than 30% of Americans struggle with sleeping, and one of the main causes is temperature. The worst I've ever slept was when my air conditioner went out. I could have used this next thing I'm about to read. That's why 8 Sleep created the Pod Pro cover. It's the most advanced solution on the market for thermal regulation. It pairs dynamic cooling with biometric tracking. Basically, it can read your body temperature, room temperature, your sleep stages to create an optimal sleeping environment. Testing shows that 8 Sleep users fall asleep 32% faster and have 40% less interruptions. And everyone from CEOs to CrossFit athletes, including the 2021 fittest man on earth, Justin Medeiros, uses 8 Sleep to help their workouts and recovery. Go to 8sleep.com/no-chill to check out the Pod Pro cover and save $150 at checkout. Again, go to 8sleep.com/no-chill to check out the Pod Pro cover and save $150 at checkout.
All right, so now let's head over to the Bay. Klay Thompson, you know, made his comeback after 941 days, whatever it was. You know, really didn't look like he missed a beat, playing on a lot of adrenaline. Mm-hmm. Warriors been out without Draymond for a little bit, been struggling a little bit, still second in the West. I think, you know, the thing that people don't really talk about, you have these little kind of spurts during the season where you may struggle, but you've given yourself so much leeway with how amazing you play leading up to that. You can have a little fall off. Obviously, you don't want the thing to continue, but when you look at Klay, Klay's averaging 15 points a game in 21 minutes, shooting 36% from three. Are the Splash Brothers still as dominant as ever?
I mean, you can't say they're as dominant, as Splash Brothers.
Steph is
Yeah, that's what I said. As Splash Brothers, they're not dominant yet. Steph is dominant. Steph is doing what Steph does. He's gotten better, smarter, wise. I mean, he's playing MVP basketball. Right now, he's just waiting for Klay to get back to Klay's form, and then the Splash Brothers are back. And like you can see right now that, Curry's dialing it down a little bit to get Klay involved. But it's only a matter of time. And then from there, you will see that those splashies is back.
So if this squad can stay healthy, or everybody's going to deal with some injuries throughout the season, but stay as healthy as possible going into the postseason, can anybody get with them? Because I don't see it right now, and you know me, I don't really for Warriors like that. But you got to give it up to this team. This team plays hard. Guys like Jordan Poole, some of the younger guys are really taking on the characteristics of a guy like Steph, who's really kind of came to that leadership role. Who can work with them in the postseason?
You got to remember, postseason is different than regular season.
Yeah.
Postseason, you're going to need your bench players a lot more. So it all depends on, who can really come off that bench and give them the spark that Barbosa, Livingston, Iguodala did, Harrison Barnes, like those guys who can really come in that second unit and push the envelope also. So that's going to be the key. Because what people don't realize in playoffs, you kind of lose a little bit of Klay. And you lose him because he plays so hard on defense, trying to shut down the best player on the other team, that he loses his legs for offense. So, his numbers aren't going to jump. Like, usually, like if you average 21, in the playoffs, you're going to average like 26, 27, which gets you over. If he's averaging 21, it's going to be 21 with a worse shooting percentage, or you're going to be in that 20 to 19 area. It all depends on the matchups that he has to guard. If you don't want him to go. You got Booker one game, then Mitchell the next one, then you got who else is in the West? And then you got to go get Luka.
Yeah.
Like he.
It's a lot of dudes giving out buckets that he's gonna have to accept.
And so he has to try to neutralize those stars while trying to be a star. But he puts so much emphasis on defense when he's in the playoffs that he kind of loses his legs a little bit. So you gotta take in that into factor too. When you're jumping into the playoffs.
So Draymond Green, undisputed heart and soul of that squad. They have Wiseman, who still hasn't played this season. Looking to do some things. Do you see a world where they try to make a move for somebody like Ben Simmons? There's been some talk. To this point, Sixers, Daryl Morey have been super, super hesitant to pull the trigger. It's kind of just a pissing contest. The water's cold and it's deep too. To see who's gonna budge first. And just looking at Ben, at what point does it become detrimental, or are we past that point? Because now, the expectation he'll be able to come contribute this season. It's going to take him at least 4 to 6 weeks to get some semblance of conditioning. Is he a difference maker on a squad, or do you even see a move like that happening?
No, I mean, it all depends on if he's working out and training. You know what I mean? We see Kyrie miss majority of the season, came back, and it's like he,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
So it's not like Ben's injured. So, and what Ben is good at, defense, getting everybody the ball, and rebounding, he doesn't really lose. It ain't gonna take him much to get those three categories going in. Offense, ability of shooting. I mean, that's what people are complaining about anyway. So wherever he goes, he's gonna contribute. He's gonna contribute on the defensive the side, rebounding, and getting his other players involved. Now it's just chess between every other team. Who's gonna who's going to throw out enough bait that they don't tear their team apart where when Ben comes, it takes them over the top. Yeah. And if I'm any team out there, West or East, that's what I'm going. I'm trying to figure out how to add this piece without breaking up. Like before, it was like, all right, I'll give you a star for him. Now it's like, ooh, I can keep my star and then get him. You done added 5, 6 more years to this team. Versus I get Ben, I give you my star, now I gotta go find pieces in the draft and, waste Ben's time for 5 years and you done waste that person. I can just add him and then he add 5 more years to this roster. So, if Golden State adds him, it depends on who they have to give up. If you don't have to give up Draymond, Clay, and Curry,
I think that's kind of the fear of every other Western Conference team because they've got pieces. Obviously, Bob Myers, savvy negotiator, former UCLA Bruin. It's definitely something to worry about because that squad is already championship level without that. And this, not to say it's comparable to adding a KD to the squad, but it elevates that team to a level where nobody's really going to be able to work with them, I don't think, in my opinion.
See, the problem is Philly has this idea of winning the championship. So if they're getting rid of a star, they want a star to plug in. Yeah. You're not going to want to plug in young guys and you still got Embiid there because you give back young guys that can't contribute right now while Embiid's there, then you're going to have to get rid of Embiid in 2 years because he's not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy like almost making it to the championship and possibly winning to now we sitting here 6th, 8th in the East. While I'm still young, I want to go get a chance to try to win. So he's going to be knocking on, I might want to be traded and stuff like that. So I can see why they don't want to hold on, but at this point, there's no win. I don't see how there's a win for them because they know that everyone knows you have to get rid of him. Obviously, we know he's not going to budge. He's not going to go in there and play. He's not going to play another game for you to try to make you better. He's not going to try to win a game for you. So the fact that you got to get rid of him, we don't have to really offer you much. So I don't really see anybody just coming out the gates offering their star up.
So Pistons offered a package with Jeremy Grant and a reasonable crew. Daryl Morey was having none of it, allegedly, according to reports. What's it going to take? And like I said, at this point, it feels like a stalemate. And are they really willing to sacrifice an entire year of Ben Simmons to prove a point for no reason? Because to your point, they're not going to win a championship without him. And they're not going to win a championship unless they get some pieces that can help replace the value that he adds to the squad. So at what point, if you're a Sixers fan at the crib, like, yo, dog, do something. Like, did you play in this game?
And that's what I said, but that's what I'm saying. Like, because it is negotiating, you want to really go into negotiating with a strong presence. Like, so if I'm him, Morey, I'm gonna be turning down. I'm gonna turn it down to make it seem like, yo, we good over here. We until someone says, well, we'll give you this. And it's like, I think about it. It's one of those. It's one of yes. You over here. You throw me like Westbrook and like.
Ooh, are you taking that?
Morant. I might. Okay, what they really need is a shooting guard. A shooting guard. Curry is fine at the point guard position because he doesn't actually have to be traditional when you have somebody like Embiid. You don't need him running the offense and trying to get everybody involved. Do what you do best. We have Embiid. We have Tobias. Our shooting guard is plant food. He just does nothing. Like there was a game where he played 25 minutes, had all zeros. Like I don't need that from that position. I don't need that from that position. I don't need that type of defense. Like I need a shooting guard who can give me 16 to 20 guaranteed. I like that trade.
Well, let's take it out west. Memphis Grizzlies. Surprise of the league this season. Maybe not surprising to some, in the Memphis area and surrounding parts of Tennessee. But for the rest of the country and the world, Definitely surprised. Ja really has ascended to that level, which, he's battled some injuries throughout his career. People knew he could get to that level, but this squad, third in the West right now, 31-16 as of this taping. When you look at Ja, where do you rank him right now amongst the top players in the NBA? Top 5, top 10? Does he deserve that MVP love? When you see Ja, what do you see?
He reminds me of Derrick Rose MVP year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Averaging about 24, 25 points, but it's the spectacular plays at the right time. It just reminds me of when Derrick was in that mode, because it's not like Derrick was averaging 30, 28, they're 25, 24, but the team was so solid together that it just made Derrick just look amazing, because everybody moved to his beat, and that's where the Grizzlies are right now.
So if you're a team in the West, if you're the Warriors, Suns, Jazz, you got to face the Grizzlies in the playoffs. Are you nervous, or how are you looking at this squad? Because are you looking at the same way? I feel like you see the Jazz always at the top of the league, top of the West, but nobody's really nervous playing them in a playoff series. It's kind of like we're looking for that matchup. No, no offense to them, but that's just kind of what it is. When you look at this Grizzlies squad, should they be taken seriously, or is that a squad that's like, we'll lose a game or two if we can end up facing the Grizzlies in the playoffs?
It's one of those where, you want to face them because they're young. They're inexperienced. And that's where the playoffs, that's where a veteran team can really take advantage of that matchup. It'd be hard to win in, over there, because it's grind city, they're going to play hard at home, but the playoffs is a whole different game. It's half court. But they have a good team, though. They have a good, solid team. So, they just don't want a wrong matchup. Like, it's like you don't want to play Utah. I mean, you don't want to play like Denver in the playoffs if they're 6 and you're Grizzlies. You don't want to go against Jokic first round. You know what I mean? So it's like it all depends on matchups in the playoffs.
When you look at that squad, obviously performing amazing with Ja, but even without Ja, 11-2. Mm-hmm. So does that hurt Ja's MVP claim, saying that, well, shit, this team is good without you too,
No,
Chief?
because it didn't hurt Derrick Rose's team, and they made it to the playoffs the years Derrick Rose wasn't there, because it was a great team. You got to remember, to win an MVP, like, people don't understand that. To win an MVP, you have to have a good team. Like, if you're 1 or 2, your team is good too. Like, it's not like you're not by yourself averaging 35 points. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to the guy who has to play the hardest. They're going to give it to the guy who has the best team, best supporting cast, and he's the best player. And that's just like, that's what's going to get you 1, 2, or 3. You're going to have a great team, great nucleus. Like, you guys are playing great basketball, and you're the best player on that team.
So, question for you: starting a franchise, you need a point guard that's going to carry you for the next 5 years. You got Ja, you got Luka, you got LaMelo. Of those 3 players, who are you picking to run that franchise for the next 5?
Luka. I'm gonna go with the big guard, because he offset a lot of positions, because he can play the 1, 2, and the 3. I mean, he's just a mismatch no matter where you put him at. So I'm gonna go with the Luka.
I think Luka's obviously so far shown that he's above those guys. I'm a LaMelo guy, I'm a big baller brand through and through. So when you look at LaMelo, and he's had a squad, if he's on a squad like the Mavs, or you got a squad like the Grizzlies, and no knock to the Hornets, but you think he's performing at an equal level, or is it just, one of those situations where Luka's far and away better than him?
Like, it reminds me of like how LaMelo is more like the Jason Kidd type, flashy, look in the pass. I mean, he can shoot a lot better, can score a lot better. But when you give him other good players, you gotta remember, he has no one right now. Like, Bridges and all, they're good because he can get them the ball. But what happens when you can put him around players who can go get it themselves also? Now he becomes harder to guard, and because his IQ is high, that his game just jumps. Like he would go from like okay to MVP candidate because he's playing at that level. It's like when Nash went to the Suns, and you got Amari, you got Sean Marion over there. You got boom, just like you got other players who can do this, and he just shoots up to another level.
Speaking of the MVP race, our good friends at Fubo Sportsbook released their MVP odds. We got the top three right now. Steph at plus 175, Giannis at plus 320, and Jokic at plus 500. So when you look at this MVP, are you going with Curry or are you playing the field?
I'm going to play the field. I'm going to play the field on this one, and I think I'm going to take DeMar DeRozan.
Ooh.
I know they just lost LaMelo, but
Alonzo,
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We rock with the balls around here.
Yeah, they lost Ball for 4 to 6 weeks. The way he's been playing, I mean, I don't know how many game winners he's hit this year alone, but he's done put himself in a whole nother category. And if they can stay in that 1-2, I don't know how he doesn't win MVP.
And that's funny. We had DeMar on this show before the season started. And, he had the option to potentially go to the Lakers, which he thought he was going to be doing. They didn't pull the trigger. He ends up Chicago, had his choice, and he told us then that this squad was going to be something to deal with.
Yeah,
and, people tell you shit. This is L.A. You hear shit, and it's like, okay, sure. We're not really tripping on you, Lakers Nation, whatever. But to see what he's been able to do with this squad and really kind of bringing the mid-range game back, because that was another thing we hit him on, why you don't shoot as many threes as other guys in the league. I mean, I can if I feel like it. I like my mid-range better. I have more faith and confidence in that. But to see what he's doing has been tremendous. So you think that this Bulls squad can sustain without Zoe for that period? And how far do you think they can go?
Yeah, Chicago's always been like a grinded city. Those guys have been playing well. You added another grinder in Caruso, and then you add a gamer in DeMar, a guy who's, carried franchises. He should have a championship if LeBron wasn't in the East. You know what I mean? Like when LeBron leaves, Toronto wins, If he was there, Toronto still wins.
You think so?
Yeah.
DeMar said a Kawhi Raptors
you win it because they were a dominant team. You got to remember, they were number 1, 2 damn near every year. And LeBron is the one that kept taking them out. So you have a guy who's carried cities. So you put him in, a city where we need you to be who you are. And he's showing who he is. He's showing what he can still do. And, I would put my money on, he pulls it out.
So just so you know, DeMar currently plus 2,700. So y'all want to get that great value bet? Throw 5, throw 10, throw 100 if you're big balling. Just see what happens. But so to continue in that, when you look at we mentioned those 3 candidates, but is there anybody else who you feel like is a dark horse to really come through and snatch that thing up? Obviously, we're about to hit the All-Star break. We'll have the second half of the season where guys really show what's what. Is there someone in your mind that
it's kind of weird that you have DeMar in the East, number 1, that he's plus 2,700, and then you have Suns in the West that their 2 players are somewhere in the in the midst of the darkness. Yeah, so plus 5,000 to 6,000 on those. Paul and Booker, and they're number 1 in the. It's kind of really hard, but with Steph, doing what he's doing, and once Klay gets his full stride, they're gonna go on runs where they won 15 games in a row, 16 games in a row, and that's just gonna take Curry to that next jump. Like, hello, yeah.
So something you always talk about, you can't look at team achievement when looking at player achievement, right? So you got LeBron James right now playing out of his mind. And we're not going to use the age as an excuse, although you're 19, 37 years old. I don't think anybody had the expectation that he would be doing the things he was doing, the 30-point game streak, which turned into a 25-plus point game streak, just, over 30 a night in what he's doing most recently. Is LeBron a guy that should get some serious, discussion in that MVP debate, or is it a situation where the media the people that are voting for this award, hey, we're tired of seeing LeBron here.
Yeah, okay, so, and this is why media voting should be removed. Did you see the story about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
And the guy, I just don't like him because of, the coronavirus thing. That is who's voting. They already have their mind made up. They have a personal agenda on certain things. You can't have these people actually voting. Like if this person don't want to give you an interview, he ain't getting your vote. Like those shits add up, So the fact that they have voting power sucks because they're not looking at it how it should be looked at. An MVP is the most valuable player, not the best player on the best team. It's the most valuable. So if you take him off the team, how does that team survive, right? So when you have someone who's carrying, that means if he doesn't average 34 or 35 a game, 28, 29, if he doesn't average that, they're not going to be where they are. If I can, average 22 points and this person averaged 22 points, you average 21 points, and I'm sitting after the fourth quarter. Am I really going 100 every game? No, I don't have to. I got other players with me that's gonna take that load off. So how is that really an MVP if this guy, he has to compete 1,000% just to have a chance to beat us?
I think when you look at Steph last year, that argument can be made because Steph had the back injury. That squad was hot boo-boo.
Yeah.
Just to be real.
Yes.
Steph comes back. It's a little different this year now. Squad's more fortified, getting Clay back, getting guys a year older. And that's my thing with LeBron. Like, you can look at this Lakers squad, but if LeBron's not playing right now.
That's what I said. Like, if players voted, LeBron would be in the top 3.
And why do you think the league doesn't allow that? Because I share the same. I've always had that opinion in media. A lot of great media members, but I got to see you make a left-hand layup. I got to see you make a suicide for time. I got to see you do simple things that players have to deal with to be able to understand that mentality. A lot of former players in media, some who get to cast votes. But why not ask guys who actually, because your opinion of a guy playing is going to be completely different than somebody who's in the media. And also, let's keep it real. If I'm a beat reporter for the Lakers, I'm not watching. I'm gonna see these other teams when the Lakers play them, but I'm gonna see that version of the squad. I'm not gonna sit here and watch every Blazers game or
because they're stat looking. They're looking at the stats. They're looking at the record. They're looking at plus minus. They're looking at everything that has nothing to do with basketball, right? That has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the game itself and how the game is being played. So there's years where no knock on Steph, but he's playing literally 3/4 of basketball. That's how good that team was. Like, they're playing 3/4. Like, he's whooping everybody. They're whooping everyone's, but by the end of the third, he don't have to play the fourth. Probably like 40 of those games, right? In reality, who's really playing at an MVP level? You know what I mean? Who's really he has to go wild, and his team sucks so bad he has to average a triple double. He has to average no one ever asked to go there. Wait, why is he averaging 35? Because that's how bad his team is. His team is that bad where he is forced to average 35. That is an MVP because he's still keeping that boat alive. He has to be the captain. He has to run back there, be the rear guy. There's holes in it. He has to go down to the deck, patch the holes in. He has to do everything just to stay above water. That is what an MVP is. MVP is not there's 4 Bugattis and we're going 85 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Because, hey, you take some of it, I'll take some of it, you take a little bit of it. I don't have to rough my engine. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to burn my wheels out. I ain't wasting no gas. You got to get gas. You got to fill up. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So media don't know that because they're not training. You know how, think about when, you going into your team sorry. Think about your work ethic that summer. Like, yo, I gotta do all this. So I usually run 2 miles a day. Now I gotta run 5 miles a day because we just lost this player, and I gotta make up that. You know, you like it goes. There's thought into this shit. Like we go into the summer like, yo, damn, we didn't sign nobody. Oh man, I gotta go on double time now because I'm gonna have to carry this until at least All-Star break and we get somebody. Like we really think like that. So the fact that you're saying, damn, yeah, you averaged 35, pass the ball. Like I would actually pass the ball if somebody was gonna catch that shit.
Well, that's all I need to hear. Another edition of Heat Check. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. We'll be back very soon with more. It's a No Chill with Gilbert Arenas.
And Kwame's ass. I had to